Okay, perfect. Good. Welcome. You're so welcome.
Thank you.
Great to have you. Okay, we're gonna start off a little bit differently today. We're just gonna do a little bit of a little bit of a kind of a check-in, a little bit of self-study, just to become sort of a little bit more aware of body, mind, and breath, and how everything is in the moment. So I really encourage you to find a position that feels really comfortable for you right now. So there's no particular shape that you have to be in. You might prefer to be lying down, you might prefer to be sitting upright, or just anything that feels kind of supportive for how your energy is at the moment. And then you're welcome to have the eyes open or closed if that feels good. Either way is perfect as well. So just allowing yourself to settle, shift and adjust in any way that feels right, feels necessary. And then just begin to notice whether it feels easy or difficult for you to be still. Are you moving more or less than usual? Do you feel the urge to fidget? Do you feel restless or jittery? Is there a feeling of lethargy or sluggishness in the body? Do you feel collapsed or slumped? Do you feel frozen or excessively still? Or do you feel relaxed and at ease? All of you is welcome. Notice how much space you want to take up right now. Do you feel expansive, or do you feel an urge to curl up and make yourself smaller? All of you is welcome here. Notice the quality of your thoughts. Do you notice that your thoughts feel curious, creative, or critical, rigid? Do you sense a quality of open-mindedness? Do you feel perhaps a little bit blocked? All of you is welcome here. Take some time to notice any emotions that are present. Any emotions that are present for you in this moment. Do you feel sad, scared, angry, worried, hopeless, excited, joyful, calm? Notice how you are breathing. Do you have a tendency to hold your breath? Are you breathing in a shallow manner? Does your breath feel quickened, or do you notice a shortness of breath? You can't quite get enough oxygen. Are you breathing freely and easily? All of you is welcome here. Notice the overall quality of your energy. Do you feel vigilant, kind of alert? Do you feel maybe foggy or fatigued? Or do you feel relaxed and at ease? All of you is welcome here. So take a moment just to shift and adjust and change and come back into this space. And as totally blink the eyes open if you haven't got them open. And so in today's practice, we are looking at the theme of intuition and leadership. And this theme leads on quite nicely, almost as though I prepared it from last week. So this idea that we had of last week of turning our pain into power, of recognizing where we are being pulled down, and then how we can lift ourselves up, right? That is the leadership place. So this practice of svadhyaya, self-study, noticing our thoughts, our breath, our energy, we can see where things are maybe pulling us down into more almost like shadow, of course. And not that that is a negative thing at all. It's a place where we can just observe maybe the inner critic or that little voice that says maybe mean, not very constructive things. And then how we can observe those and then lead ourselves out of those places. Like, no, that's not the kind of thought space I want to be in, and then lead ourselves back out of that. So when we think about leadership in the sense of leading anyone, the most important thing is to be a leader to ourselves first. And we develop that skill through self-awareness, which is practices like we've just done, and then self-reflection. So observing our past behaviors, not in a negative way again, just as a point of reference to see maybe how we responded or reacted in certain situations and how we'd like to adapt that going forward. Or even with regards to maybe observing people who you think hold great qualities of leadership and making note of the things that make those people good leaders. In the same way as you might look at people who you feel are not great leaders, but who hold positions of power, but who you'd like to maybe go, I see that quality and I want to steer away from that almost. And we can have this kind of conversation with ourselves in that space. And then the final one with regards to leadership is self-regulation. So this is maybe one of the more challenging ones because it requires a kind of stopping, a pause, and then almost like reframing and rethinking how important the thing that we are maybe getting pulled into or pulled down by, how important that is to us in that moment, right? Because if we kind of qualify it on a scale of 1 to 10, some of those negative things that pull so much of our energy aren't the most important things to be focusing on. And if we can sort of develop that skill of just giving things a number on the scale of importance, it can help us to kind of move on from that and move on to more important tasks, perhaps. Like, is it important to dwell on the things that we feel aren't working at the moment? Or is it better to just attend to what I can in this moment and keep moving forward? So all of the practices, I hope, that we've been doing throughout the course are kind of leading us into all of these things. So this self-awareness, self-reflection, and self-regulation. So use of the breath, use of meditation, use of noticing our external world and things around us, like feet into the ground, like we did at the very start of the practice. All of these things kind of feed into this idea of making ourselves our greatest leader. And then tuning into our intuition on that, trusting that intuition, because we have all of these skills that we've put in place in order to support us and bolster us in order to be regulated and joyful, essentially. So we're going to start with a little bit of sitting. So finding, again, just a comfortable position that feels right for you. Sorry, that's my zip. So you could be at home on a chair or sitting onto a bolster or some kind of prop. And then we'll just relax the body in any way that you feel you need to. Again, the eyes might be open or closed. And just coming back into that kind of felt sense, observing, feeling, and noticing. And just take one hand to the center of your chest and place the other hand above it. Just notice this kind of tactile sense, this connection, one hand onto the body, the other hand above it, and this reciprocal feeling of warmth from the body into the hand and the hand into the body. Notice if there is any way you could move a little bit to just create more ease through your body. It might be that you feel a sense of the neck, back of the neck being long, the crown of the head slightly lifting. Maybe feeling into the dynamic lift through the stabilizing structure of your spine. And then gently take the palms to touch. So just slightly change positioning. We're going to rub the palms together quite quickly, as though trying to generate a little bit of heat. And eyes might be open or closed. Just feeling into the sense of touch from one palm to the other. Noticing perhaps a little bit of heat building up between the hands. Noticing your breath. And then gently begin to place the palms just in front of the face so that your palms are just above the eyes. So you can feel a little bit of the warmth that has been generated from the hands onto the eyes, just above the eyes, not quite touching. And then with your fingertips, lightly place them onto your forehead. We're just going to begin to gently, like feather-like brushes, across the forehead. Again, eyes might be open or closed. So moving from the center to the sides, you might even move slightly upwards towards the hairline. Just feeling that light touch onto the forehead, around the hairline. And then gently bring your fingertips a little bit further down and using just the tip of one finger, two fingers, press into just the corners of your eyebrows, just a little pressure. This point in here that might feel a little bit tender, you can have a little bit of a look around, maybe you make tiny circles with your fingers. It's that place where sometimes you feel naturally inclined to maybe gently squeeze with one hand. So notice if there is that little point of tenderness. Gently, very softly, just press into it. Then slowly, just allow your fingertips to move along the eyebrows. So you might, again, be making like little stroke-like motion or little circles as you make your way to the outer corner of the eyebrow. You find your fingertips are onto the temples, the sides of your head. And again, it might feel nice to just gently make tiny circles around this area of the temples. See if you can hold a kind of duality, paying attention to where we are working and also into the rest of your body. Can you soften any place that might be holding tension through the legs, through the back? Then once you've sort of done a few little circles around the temple, bring your fingertips back to the ridge of your nose and just kind of gently brush down the ridge of the nose. And then place your 2 fingertips to the outer edges of your nostrils, and we'll gently press in there too. It can be a little pressure points. So this is points that are used in acupressure, acupuncture. Circles or just gentle pressure down. And then you might find that you're very close to the cheekbone here. So the upper portion of the cheekbone, just below the eye, so that kind of circle that dips under the eye. And there can be a little pressure point there, just about halfway under the eye. If you feel a little bit of tenderness, you might like to stop and gently work that space. And then making your way over. Again, there might be other little points of tension you find along the way that you can work into. And then we'll slide back and then down a little bit so that we're under the bone, the cheekbone. And again, as you work your way across, little circle motions, you might find a little point of tension, again, kind of in the center of the cheekbone. You could press up and in, or again, maybe little circles. Then slowly making your way across the cheekbone and out again in the direction of the ear. And then gently slide your fingertips up so that you can come to the top of your ear. And you might sort of gently pinch the ear all the way down towards the earlobe. You could do that a couple of times. You might notice maybe a little bit of heat coming into the ears as you repeat this movement a few times. It's bringing that tactile sense into this space. And then, if you can, just placing your fingertips just slightly into the ear and almost like you're gently drawing the ear down with that finger, like it hooks in and draws down. Just stay there for a breath. So there's a light stretch around the ear, structures of the ear. Then gently release, and there is this small piece of cartilage called the tragus. We're going to catch hold of that as well. So just gently adding a little bit of pressure, like a little pressure point into that space. Make sure your shoulders are still relaxing. Notice your breath. Light pressure there. And then release, we'll make our way back onto the face, sort of the top of the jaw area. So you'll feel a little bit of that musculature there. Perhaps it feels a little bit tender. You can gently massage down towards the bottom of the jaw. You might do that a couple of times. Gently, softly. And then come onto the chin, so this little center point of the chin, and you might catch just under the chin with your thumb, so like that. You can do a little soft pressure, pressing in and down. Good. And gently release, and we'll slide the hands all the way back up, side of the face, to the base of the skull. So you can kind of gently feel around the base of the skull, this back of the head. There can be some little tender points you might be aware of yourself already into the back of the head there. You can gently press and release. You might even use your fingers to kind of gently massage into the scalp. All the way up. And then bring your hands down the sides of your neck. So you're kind of smoothing down the sides of your neck. And then onto your chest. You might kind of smooth down the front of your chest area. And then crossing the arms one over the other, kind of gently squeeze and release down the arms. All the way towards the hands. Once again. And then back up. Good. You can do one hand and then the other if that feels interesting. And then take your hands down the sides of the body. So it's kind of smoothing down just the sides, side waist. And a little bit towards the back, area of the kidneys towards the sacrum. And then once you finish your last sweeping down, just take a moment, eyes closed or open, just to notice. Up here. We're going to stay in a seated position. If you need to change your movement some way too. Take your right hand and place it out to the side. Then allow your left ear to drop towards your left shoulder. So in areas same, like I'm going the same direction. From there, you might notice sensations of length or stretching to the side of the neck. And then take your gaze to look down and across to the right hand side. So you're looking at this same knee. And then you could stay, or you could take your right hand just to kind of curl and wrap around the side of your head. So initially it might feel like a little bit of stretch, but instead of pressing or pushing, see if you can press the head back into the hand and offer a little bit of resistance through the hand. Might feel like you could relax your left shoulder down a little bit more, like there's a heaviness. Just noticing how your breath feels. And then take your gaze to look up and over towards like the left corner of the room. Just holding your eyes in that position for a couple rounds of breath. And then gently bring your gaze back down and across towards your right. Gently release the hands. Bring your other hand back into center. Again, just take a little pause in between. Stretch out the left hand this time. As you bring your right hand as you bring your left ear to the left shoulder. Feeling through that dynamic stretch through the side of the neck. Couple breaths there. And then placing that left hand just around top of the head. So instead of pulling with the hand, which feels like more inclined to do that, press the head into the hand. And offer a small amount of resistance with the hand. Then again, take your gaze to look down towards your left knee. Hold there for a couple rounds of practice, looking down So we're working the ocular muscles as well. Then take your gaze to look up and across towards the right corner. Holding the eyes in that positioning. Working these muscles around the eyes is particularly important. Just a lot of our day we're spent in this kind of very close in vision. We have our screens, our phones, taking in kind of broader perspective. Okay, bring your gaze to look back down towards your back. Then gently release the hands, bring the arms back through to center. From there, take your fingertips onto your shoulders. And then we're going to lift the elbows, lift the chest, opening up, giving a slight feeling of back bending. And then bring the elbows together as you bring the chin in, you round in. So you lift the elbows, the chest lifts, collarbones maybe feel like they're dropping. And then bring the elbows in. Might enjoy connecting the breath and the movements. So maybe there's an in breath, you open out, and an out breath as you bring the elbows together. In, out, and expansive quality. Breathing out, retracting back in through the exhale. Just kind of following the feeling, noticing muscle dynamics, noticing the breath as you move through these two shapes. Knowing that you can always change the positioning of your legs. So we're going to bring that movement to your close now. So the next time you lift the elbows, stay here. We're going to keep this arm positioning. Then take a little twist. So we're going to lift and lengthen in the center, and then twist to the right. Lift and lengthen back to center, twist to the left. Lift and lengthen, twist right. Lift and lengthen, twist left. You might connect the breath and the movement here as well. Breathing in, breathing out to twist. You could begin to make this movement quicker if that feels right, or keep it very slow. Inhaling center, exhaling side. Flowing and feeling movements, breath, body. And slowly letting go of that. Coming back through to center, relax the arms. Then come back down onto the back for a moment. So let's have the soles of the feet on the ground as you recline yourself down and back. And then take the hands just under your head so that you kind of feel into the back of the skull. And you might even have a sense of your thumbs gently resting into those kind of the bony ridge of your skull. And again, you might find a little bit of something to massage into, maybe tenderness. Maybe it just feels nice, interesting to gently press into that space. And then your feet might walk a little bit wider. And And slowly allow the knees to knock from one side to the other. Feeling the muscle dynamics here, legs, they move one side to the other. You might notice as your legs move, there's a gentle rocking of the head. You can feel this, the hands and their placement. Feeling maybe a gentle pressure across the back of the pelvis. It's like a little massage maybe. And then slowly bringing that movement to a close, back through. So you might enjoy bringing your knees in, wrapping the hands around the backs of the thighs, and rolling up and down along the length of the spine. Or if that doesn't feel right for your body, you might prefer to roll to one side and gently press yourself all the way up. So we're going to change our relationship with gravity now for a moment. So your choice, if you're at home, you could be on a chair. Otherwise, we're going to come to standing. Let me move this back a little bit so I'm still in the frame. So we come all the way, I've lost my head. Sorry. Okay, hopefully I'm in the frame more or less. Maybe I'll stand. Okay, yeah. So just allow yourself to come to a position that feels good with the feet, so maybe further apart or closer in. And a little softness maybe through the knees. You feel a kind of bendiness, yeah, bounciness even. Then we'll take an in-breath to lift the arms up. So back to Tadasana, mountain pose, reach towards the sky. Have a sense of the back of the neck being long, the chin slightly in. Pressing down into the earth, feel the support of the ground that lifts you. And then the sense of reaching up, reaching yourself into sort of realm of potential in a way. Doing the dynamic stretch to the sides of the body, to the legs that are supporting you. Notice your breath here. Good, and then take a slow release of the hands all the way down. We're going to step the feet a bit wider now. So wider than hip distance. And we'll do the same thing again here. So feet are wide, arms come all the way up, reach up. Feel a sense of pressing down through the feet, lifting through the arms. Maybe a little bit of a sense of the sort of sitting bones reaching downwards, back of the neck again long, crown of the head lifting up. Noticing your breath, seeing if you might be able to reach a little bit higher. That feels good. Might feel preferable to be a little bit softer through your reaching. But if it feels okay, see if you can take up a little bit more space. This is a expression of really taking up space. Reaching and opening up. Then gently allow the arms to come down, back by your sides. We're going to turn the right foot to face more forward once again, and then bend into that right knee. So we're in a kind of a warrior stance from our yoga. And then just allow yourself here to find a little bit of movement. Maybe something very subtle. Maybe you're bending a little bit through the front knee. Maybe it's a little bit of movement through the back leg. Then you could explore a little bit of movement through the arms. So maybe there's a little bend in the elbows, Then you can reach outwards. You bend the elbows, bring them back in. Playing around with muscle dynamics. So sort of strong shape of the legs still remains. So we explore different feelings through the arms, through the torso, reaching out. You can be looking forward in the direction of that hand that is reaching forward and out. Or you could be looking more to the side. Feeling a sense of the musculature of your legs working quite strongly to support you. Maybe holding that position. Just noticing how it feels to find stillness, but noticing so that there is movement within that stillness. Then slowly straightening out through your front leg. We're going to take a little bit of a triangle shape. So it might be helpful to walk that back foot forward a little bit to shorten your stance. And if you are at home and you have a top nearby, sometimes we use a water bottle back in the times where we weren't allowed to use any props. You could use something like a water bottle to support you. And we're going to take that right hand to the bottle or to your shin or to your block if you have one. And then reach up through your left hand, top hand left. You could have your gaze looking downwards, you could look to the side, or you could look up. See what feels good. So we're making choices. Yeah. Honoring how your body wants to move is the foundation of creating a willful practice. Slowly coming all the way back up. And then we'll turn the right toes in and the left toes out. It may be that you can walk that left foot a little bit further forward now to make your stance a little bit broader. That feels right. And then we'll just begin by bending into that front knee. And just finding again a sense of inhabiting this shape. So maybe it's a lifting, a lowering, just allowing yourself to feel into it. Then you might bring the arms into it, so soft bend through the elbows and then extending arms out, bringing them in. Again, there could be a sense of working with the breath in this position. Muscle dynamics through the legs, noticing where your head wants to be. Choices. And maybe you hold this kind of more expansive expression, feeling that muscle dynamics working, keep you here, stability through the earth. Maybe you're lifting through the crown of the head. Feeling that sense of taking up space, reaching into distance, into where you want to lead yourself to. Then we'll relax through the arms, straighten out the front leg, maybe walk the back foot in. Then either using some kind of prop to the outside of your leg, or placing the hand onto the shin and extending up through that top arm. It's like, triangle. So again here, feeling what feels right, yeah? Sometimes being higher feels better, lower. Noticing how your breath is responding to the shape. Notice your thoughts. Notice how your body is responding to the shape. choices. You might bend into that front knee to bring yourself all the way back up. And then turn your left toes to face forward once again. Walk the feet in. And then take a slow release all the way down. Maybe into this kind of downward V-shaped position. And again, it might be that you find a little bit of movement here. Just allowing yourself to settle into the shape. No wrong or right. Just feeling, noticing, breathing. Feeling the breath. And gently placing the knees all the way to the front. Extend the arms out in front to allow your forehead to soften down. If you need to, place something like a blanket between your thighs and your calves, or even rest your head onto your hands. Feeling all the points of contact now. Yourself and the earth. And using your hands to gently press yourself up to seated once again. Okay. I'm going to use a bolster, or if you have a couple of cushions, that is also quite a nice thing to make use of. So you can have 2 cushions in a line. Sometimes I quite like to, if I don't have a cushion available, like a thick blanket rolled up, used as a bolster, can be quite nice. We're going to take a little twist here, and we're going to stay and hold the positions, the position we come into, the shape we come into, for just a couple of rounds of breath, just slowing down to come into a sense of stillness, so that we can come back to a sense of listening, inner listening. So sitting with your side, you hit against the bolster or the cushion or blanket, and then hands either side of your whatever you've made. Then you're going to stretch over and down. So it might be that you take your cheek onto the bolster of one side, or turn your head to the other side, or maybe even forehead down. Could feel nice to wrap the arms around the front of your cushion. So it's a little bit of a twist, supported twist. Just allow yourself to settle here. Feeling a sense of yielding into that support of your cushion, your bolster. Honoring how your body wants to be here. Noticing your breath. Feeling the substance of your body. Feeling the body as it moves with your breath. Feeling a sense of safety within your body. Taking a few more gentle breaths here. And nice and slowly, using your hands to press yourself. And with as minimal effort as possible, you're going to gently switch around to come to the other side. So sitting with the legs stacked, hands placed either side of your cushion, standing forward and relaxing down. Soften across the shoulders. Soften the muscles around the arms. Gently glide the shoulders. Sense of breathing space between shoulders. Slowly, again, maybe turning your head back, just turn the other way. Using the hands to pad into the rug, and tactile sense of the earth beneath you. Rolling yourself over. Then, with those cushions, we're going to change the positioning of them to be resting under the legs, the knees. And taking your hands to your upper thighs if that feels safe. You can skip parts of your body that you don't want to engage with today. You can slide down. Leg perhaps would be all the way to the foot. Be gently pressing foot. Same on the other side. It's kind of smoothing down your clothing. Just down the leg till you get to your foot. It's a gentle pressing contact yourself in the foot. And then if you have a blanket, it feel nice to gently tuck yourself in. Bring yourself a little bit of calmness. And then slowly recline yourself back. Just notice how much space you want to take up. Might be that your arms are further out from the body, the legs might stretch a little bit wider. Might like to have your hands gently resting onto your body. The eyes might stay open, if that feels best, or closed. Just allow yourself to settle. Feel this new relationship between yourself, the ground, the space around you. Noticing yourself in this space. Front, back, sides, just with the eyes closed. Feeling into the spaces around you. Practically natural.
Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Mahalakshmi Vaishnavi Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Saraswati Brahmi Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Durga Devi Shankari Namastasye, 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 namo namaha. Uma Parvati Shive Namastasye, 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 namo namaha.
So as our time together comes to a close, as our practice today comes to a close, hopefully you can take something of this practice with you to shape how you would like to lead yourself forward. Maybe a shape that we practice gives you that sense of being able to take up the space you deserve. Maybe a breathwork practice that allows you to be in the present moment. Or a meditation practice, perhaps to bring about a little bit more clarity, stability, sense of being present as well. And a sense of connecting to that sense of leadership, first your own self-leadership and intuition. Just stop the music. Thank you so, so much.